criticized the Kogi State-born senior Catholic Church leader for divulging details of a closed-door meeting between President Bola Tinubu and Catholic bishops in the country. Onaeko claimed in his TV interview that raising doubts about the neutrality of the electoral process. To the presidency, though, the action is not just an abuse of clerical privilege, but a display of intemperance and a lack of restraint. Religious leaders should act as a bridge between the people and political office holders. I think it should be so. So we'll go there. Today, my conversationalist is not just a confessed Christian, but is an analyst of many years standing. Please. So let's meet and greet Mr. Akin Fatunke. I greet you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Yes, so did you see this coming?
I saw it coming.
So let's go there.
We're there.
All right.
Mr. Jones, let me preface my comments by being a bit philosophical.
All right.
You and those who know might be familiar with the Greek writer and mythologist,
Okay.
Euripides. Euripides, in one of his more known works,
Okay.
called Hecuba, Hecuba, spoke about Todis embracing applause.
Mm-hmm.
When Todis come and all what they just want to see is just to be applauded for good or for bad.
All right.
I see what is playing out or what has played out and what is going to continue to play out in the fallout of the bishops meeting with President Bola Tinubu. They sought for and they got an audience, whereby, as they are wont to do, not just in Nigeria, all over the world, but specifically in Nigeria, speak truth to power. So they had gone and they had seen Mr. President, and they went with a retinue of the fact that the Nigerian economy is not working.
No, a retinue of bishops.
A retinue of bishops, yes. Okay, a retinue of bishops.
Yeah.
And they came with a retinue of comments. The Nigerian economy is not working.
The president duly addressed them.
And part, of course, is the fact that there is so much suffering in the land. And part of what you also mentioned in your intro about they telling President Bola Tinubu that INEC is not independent, and for which Mr. President now responded that all is fair in politics. No. After all said and done, the president gave word by word, blow by blow, his whole side of the story. And Cardinal Onoyekun, naturally within his remit, went to a national station,
a national TV
station, and divulged some comments. This is Jones, I want to be clear about something.
Did he divulge comments or he criticized?
Okay, well, he divulged comments.
If it was just the
by way of criticism, he read the body language of.
I see what you mean.
Now, and having said that, looks like one side of the story that was told. And that side of the story, amongst others, is the fact that when Mr. President said all is fair in politics, that was incoherent statement. The president actually said all is fair in politics and we are going to make the play
the playing field
and the field very open
yeah
for all. It will not be for him, Mr. President, to teach the opposition on what to say, what not to say, and how to say it. That was the context. But when Cardinal Onayekana then came and said, look, as far as I'm concerned,
granted an interview
yes,
outside of the meeting.
yes, if again within context,
Yeah.
right? But the interview must be put in context. One glaring one, before I now posit my thoughts, was that, well, it's criticism. What are you doing with that fund? So, this is exactly what we are doing with that fund. Okay, grudgingly agreed. Fund, but it's still not there. But the point is, it was a good start, and that should have been stated. But I think, again, the one that was glaring was the much more populist position about education is not working out well. And so, please return missions to school. Schools to mission. Please return schools to mission. I said, look, I'm surprised this is being tabled in front of me. You're not spiritual. This is for the state governors to handle. I handle this and stuff like that.
As governor, I returned schools to missions.
Let me tell you, when you are coming highfalutin and you believe that, well, you know it all, and then you are now then pointed in a direction, it may not necessarily sit down well.
Of course, you know that many people seek advice only after their minds are made up. That, to me, is what would have played
in
out here.
all what
Because Mr. President put his scorecard on the table.
Right.
Scorecard on the table for the bishops.
I agree. Put the scorecard on the table. Henry David Thoreau says it's not what you look at that matters, but what you see. So what the bishops saw is hunger and that nothing is being done.
And insecurity. Again, he came short of telling you and I, that Cardinal Onayekon came short of telling you and I that this government was the one responsible for the war on terror,
Okay, right? But at the same time, saying that, okay, well, we have exceptions in Oriri and all that. If you are the one that is responsible 100%, you won't be ambivalent in all this. What's all this therefore posit? Cecil Jones is like Cardinal Onayekon was coming with a baggage on perceived from the presidency's view and from APC's view, and for those who support Mr. President, that, well, the grape is sour, and all that. You should have tried to be a bit much more nuanced in some of the things
and
you say.
Circumspect.
In specific reference, Cardinal Onayekon came out and said they made the point that INEC is not independent. Okay, Mr. President should not have appointed INEC.
INEC chairman.
INEC chairman. And the
but did it start yesterday?
No. But are they saying that with a full view of what the Constitution says? Why don't you just change the Constitution rather than clamor for changing of Constitution? Now, I'll tell you what.
I've been long in the business to understand the place of religion in the scheme of things. In my younger days in the profession, we were told, religion, don't go there, it's explosive. But we have gotten to a stage where we know that people use religion to commit more atrocities than they are trying to save lives.
As a matter of fact, religion in itself is a rolling stone that can never gather anymore.
Because
in any case,
I'm sorry. I remember a particular religious leader in the Second Republic who told, I don't know if you remember, told an awake country that the name of the next president is in the Bible.
Shamga. I know what you are saying. And okay, let's even go back into it before I land.
Yeah.
Okay, religion it can't be the same religious tickets. We should not forget
Muslim ticket.
We should not forget that Agu Ironsi was a Christian. His next in command,
Agu Ironsi, Babafemi, Brigadier Babafemi Ogundipe was also a Christian.
Gowon was a Christian. Rear Admiral
Akinwale Joseph Edet Akinwale was also a Christian. Fast forward to Buhari days. The MKO Abiola and King Ibe ticket was a Muslim one. Nigerians didn't bother.
No. When you now then decide to politicize religion, as we are now trying to do, as it's now being done,
we are trying to undo.
And I have to now make a statement here. Please let's watch what is going to happen in the next few days. Whether the Muslims are going to keep quiet and watch the bishops say and do what they do.
Okay.
For good reason, Murik would now then come and say, what are you talking about? What is your problem with Muslim ticket? After all, you Christians have benefited more, according to what we are saying. It is going to become
bedlam. I hope it doesn't become bedlam.
Why I am saying some of these things should be nuanced. I also remember, allegedly, I've given credence to the fact that Cardinal Onayeko has the right, and he said it was his personal opinion, has a right to go and make whatever statement that he wants to make. But please, the responsibility is that when a statement is made, whatever comes after your own free statements should also be gauged. That is not the very
How do you reconcile what we are saying now with the charge made by former President Obasanjo? He said Christians must be ready to go militant against insecurity and poverty.
And so, what should Muslims do? So the Muslims are not affected. Or when one of a candidate I like his person, comes out at a particular point in time and say this is it's a religious war, and it's politics is a Christian war, and then we'll say yes, daddy, and all that kind of stuff. My point, let's find a way to play these things down, because we don't know where some of these things.
That's where this medium comes in. Biscon TV wants to stand in the middle. For instance, it is a known fact that Cardinal Onayeko had Mr. Peter Obi as his candidate in 2023. When he lost the election, you get the impression Cardinal Onayeko is not ready to forgive the system.
Okay, well, a perception which might be great to reality, but still does not stop Onayeko to say, should Nigeria is suffering
from the pulpit? But from the pulpit and the member, should you tell the electorate who to vote for?
Okay, so let's go back a bit.
And let's talk traditional now. Former President Jonathan went to the late Awujale and tried to sweet sell himself. The late Awujale, Oba Sikiru Adetona, politely told him, Mr. President, I have one vote. My business is to tell my subjects to exercise their franchise, not who to vote for. I don't know if that makes sense, cuts any ice with you.
Wisdom is profitable to direct. In any case, can I say something here? We've seen something similar to this. Okay, so if Karen Onayeko is rooting for Peter Obi and there's no problem with that, So the same Peter Obi, within his 8 years, you remember what happened in Anambra between the Catholics and the Anglicans?
You don't want me to remind you that Peter Obi, the governor, pulled down mosques in Anambra State.
Well, allegedly.
Well, and asked people to leave the state. So we are not opening a can of worms here.
Our bishops, our reverends, whether it is Adeboye, whether it is
name it,
you know, Oyedepo, clearly says that this is the direction we should go. But when you now come on national discourse, or when you go on the pulpit, it is not wisdom for you to be seen to be biased. So what happens to your members who are not aligned with what you are saying? These are some of the things that divide unity. I also want to point out something to you. I schooled in the North, Susan Jones, as much as you know. How many times have you seen politicians in the North come to begin and then declare
fly the card
and begin to struggle and want to stab one another on the altar of politics? It's always down here in Middle Belt, perhaps in the South. I therefore call for a lot of caution. Biscon TV, in relation to what you have said, because I want to jump on that, I've seen either analysts or supporters want to just take sides. Yeah, you can begin to take sides, but you remember a statement that was made in 1994 in Kigali, when the politicians just loosely called some other people mosquitoes.
No, not a politician, a broadcaster on air. Okay. I wonder if he was trained, if he or she was trained. Said, kill all the cockroaches.
Instigated by.
I don't know, it is possible he was not acting alone.
He's being slanted. So, likewise,
no country survives a religious war. We must warn.
Please note, we went through the pogrom period, we went through the civil war.
Avoidably.
And when we now then bring issue of religion, I will begin to put our own interpretation. This is what I felt the president feels. This is what he's going to do against perhaps the wrong. The other side of it is, having said all that, I just feel Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in my opinion, has the presidency of Nigeria, all things being equal, for a second term. Himself and his advisors, his ministers, and the spokesmen should be a bit much more calm. Because irrespective of what either opposition in SCASOC's opposition in NGOs are doing, the things that you have placed on the table, which is like an investment on the ground before the plant starts to sprout.
Yeah.
It's for you to just wait for your harvest. Not just wait for harvest, Citizen Jones. Also, maturity demands that sometimes you allow people to go in a trajectory, try and educate them, and have character. Mr. President has not said what the bishops have said, is wrong. He has acknowledged them. So there is absolutely nothing much from what he has said that he has also not accepted. But bring in character, bring in more competence, bring in more inclusive. Also, it does not matter if it's coming from a baby, it's coming from a toddler, it's coming from a bishop. Take a listen. Yes, we have heard you.
Okay.
We are going to be doing quite a number of great things that will even surpass your expectations.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Fadungai, we must apply the brakes here, but not before reminding the viewer that canon laws, as I'm sure you know this,
Oh, yes.
canon laws do not encourage men of the cassock to act like activists and become partisan. It's to say it as it is. The bishops, Cardinal Onayeko inclusive, met Mr. President inside Aso Rock, and the president, they bantered, and the president presented his side of the story. This thing is akin to the statement made by the First Lady some months back. It was misconstrued. The narrative was twisted.
The Akara.
The Akara and Con thing. The statement was twisted to fit whatever
narrative that
the people canvassed. Politics is in the air, and we must be careful.
Yes.
There's a separation of government and religion.
Yes.
The Constitution does not empower anybody, governor or president, to send people on pilgrimages, but our governors, our government still do. Is that attitudinal or constitutional? Mr. Fadunka, let me thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We are done. We must drop anchor here, but not before thanking you for your patience and understanding. We thank Akin Fatunke for his intervention as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
But I would have it no other way, and more so to be your host for this auspicious event. Now, I would applaud myself, but my hands are busy. Could you help with that? Thank you. I'd just like to put this out there. I don't think you understand the pressure that I'm facing standing here. This is a book launch about commanding your stage, and it was written by a veteran. And they're experts in the field here. And not just broadcasting industry. I'm talking about public speaking. I'm talking about business moguls. I'm standing here. I feel like I've been set up. But either ways, it's going to be a win-win. Because if I do well, you can use me as a case study for the book. If I don't do well, you can use me as a scapegoat. Either ways, I offer myself. All right, once again, ladies and gentlemen, please put a round of applause for yourselves. Thank you so much for coming out here today. Thank you so much for looking so radiant. Thank you so much for cooperating. Very quickly before we go, they say everything starts and ends with prayer. And so without wasting much time, I'm going to be inviting upstage right now Mrs. Biola Muhammad to take us through the opening prayer. A round of applause, please.
Feel free. We just give you praise this morning. We exalt you. We say that you are the Almighty. You are the God of all gods, the King of all kings. You are the power that sustains our lives, that sustains our world. And we just come and acknowledge you, even before we start this process. We acknowledge you, we worship you, and we adore you. Accept our praise, Lord, we ask in Jesus' name. We thank you for a time like this. Thank you for Bimbola and what you have enabled her to do and what you have enabled her to be. And we ask, Lord, that this book that she's presenting will be a great encouragement and blessing to many lives. We lift up our country at this time, and we just ask that you will intervene. In this room, there are men and women of influence, men and women with a voice. We ask, Lord, that you will give us the courage You will give us the compassion. You will give us the ability to speak up, to guide, to give our opinions, to build this country, a great country for all of us, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
And for the first time, I'm going to be honest. Usually I read books to sleep off. And I know that I'm not the only one on this table. But for the first time, when I opened that book, it felt like torture because I could not stop. And then I realized that there's so many things that I do not know. There's so many things to learn. And one beautiful thing about this book is the fact that it's not just for wannabes like me. It's also for veterans, for public speakers. So nobody is exempt from getting this book. And that's why it is a must-have. Once again, I would like you to put your hands together for Mrs. Bimbo Oloyede for such great work of art. I know you haven't seen it, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it was a wonderful book. All right, very quickly, I would just like for us to recognize the presence of dignitaries in this room in no particular order. It's not about to be a monologue. Very quickly, we're going to be having the opening remark. And of course, I'll be inviting the chairman of this auspicious occasion, who is an esteemed business leader who has left indelible mark in the business world. And I'm talking about none other than Mr. Fola Adeola. Please, a round of applause for the chairman as he comes for his opening remark.
Done. Well done. Let me start by welcoming you to a place that some of us call second home. And there are quite a few people here who come here quite regularly. We take pride in the ambience we've been able to offer you today. Please enjoy our hospitality while you're here. But I'm not here in that capacity. I'm here to chair this event. Bimbo Oloyede. The call came. Is that Mr. Adeola? I said, yes. No, it was a message. Will you tell me when I can call you? And I said to myself, I'm not even Donald Duke. People just call me, and when I'm free, I pick the phone. When I'm not free, I call them back. So I didn't wait to reply. I just called her, and she said, this is what she wanted me to do today. Stephen Covey said, it's easy to say no when there is a greater yes inside you. Bimbo Oloyede, presenting a book, wants me to come and chair it. Looked at my calendar while on the phone and realized that I was in town. Checked my blood pressure, said I'm well. So I said to myself, why will I sit that? Because I knew that once I say no and I drop the phone, I mean, she's going to call Donald. Why do I make him even more famous? So I said, yes, I'll chair the occasion. And that's why I'm here. But on a more serious note, I was born in Lagos. Most of my education here. My work all through my life so far here. Somebody said I've left indelible marks on business. I haven't finished. So next I say he's leaving. So, Bimbo Oloyede and I hardly crossed paths in the course of what we did. But who doesn't know in my own generation, Bimbo Oloyede, most evenings we were privileged. Most evenings. Is it the way she read the news? You see the way she presented herself? Is it her Spartan life? From the distance, all these, we can see. And when such people come forward, I take it as a privilege that despite and in spite of the pressures of this environment, they've not been subdued. They've held on to those values that they consider, somebody says something to you and you reflect and say, this is not what my mother told me. And it's as simple as that. So I will choose the one my mother told me. People who have consistently chosen what their mothers told them. And I said, I'll be here. Another reason, many years ago, as a young man in my late 30s, if the hostess said she was under pressure, I've always been under pressure. Some people thought it wise at the time, at the age of 35, going on 36, to issue me with a banking license. And some people, even stupider, gave me the money to go and do whatever I wanted to do with it. All that guided me through was what my mother taught me. Don't take other people's money. It's not your own. And when she took the inventory in my school bag, from primary school, every day she took inventory. I didn't know the word inventory then. But she would check your bag, and any strange thing that wasn't in your bag when you were going in the morning. Whose is this? And you say, I borrowed him from my friend. By the time the word friend was coming out, the slap was following. And said, anytime you borrow something, what do you do? With tears in your eyes, return it. Yeah. So, anytime I fail to return from the bus stop, I'll look for places. I've lost so many things in my life. I look for places to hide those things so that my mother won't pick them. And the following morning, when I went back to the bus stop, I won't remember which of the stones I used to block. Okay, that was between me and my friend. But I realized that the job that I was doing had tremendous interface with the public. How do you face people? How do you talk to people? A bit luckier in high school, I was a debater. My high school is not too far from here. So if you ask me, I'll tell you where it is. That helped a bit to stand on the stage and say, I hope you will agree with me that it is better to go right than to go left. So I saw this course, leading with presence. Leading with presence was in Boston. And I happened to be in Boston at that time, 2 days. And it was artists, actors, actresses that put this course together to teach men of commerce, men and women of commerce. Many years ago, if you say men of commerce, it's assumed that included women. But before we start fighting here, it's men and women of commerce. How to lead with a presence. And I enrolled $400 to go and learn how to lead with presence. It was remarkable. It was remarkable. Anybody ever saw Chicago, either in film or in the theater? There was a man there called Mr. Cellophane. Mr. Cellophane. And said, they walked right through me. No, nobody sees him. He was an actor. He was there on the stage. But you couldn't remember Mr. Cellophane. But when we live here, somebody's going to say to you, did you see Donald Duke? I said, no. Oh, he was there. I used a wrong example. But there are people here today who will not be remembered for being here. And that's all they were trying to tell us. A man once ran the affairs of this country called General Abacha. The word you could use to describe him physically was diminutive. But nobody ever said he didn't see Abacha in the audience. In any case, he will come in with the darkest of sunglasses. No matter how dark your hall is, Abacha will still wear his dark glasses. And we all knew that he was there. Awolowo, Azikiwe. But there are people that misunderstand humility for presence. They're different. I haven't read the book, but when I saw the title, Commanding Your Stage, which my predecessor on this podium did excellently well, I think that's what it's all about. My last point, I'm so happy to find people from different schools here. Vivian Fowler. The last I knew them, they were in Surulere, but I've just been told by the students that they've moved to Oregon. St. Fimbers. The only thing we knew about them at my time was that they were playing football, right? And football was more important to Reverend Father Slattery. Should I go on, sir? And it didn't matter what your religion was, despite the fact that it was a Catholic school. It didn't matter what your religion was at my time, in whatever school, in Lagos. But Father Slattery brought eminent young boys. And they were remarkable footballers. I don't even know whether those of you still in school ever heard of Emilio John. Emilio was their talisman. And one final at Lagos City Stadium, they had sent it into the press that Emilio was injured and Emilio wasn't going to play. So the other side was getting more comfortable until they all came out. Bless his soul, Sonny Badru, blew the whistle, and we saw number 9, Emily John. Guess what happened? Mogbeo. Emilio was sick. He ran on pa, and so on and so forth. But it's nice to be here and see people. And sometimes in audiences such as these, you have the opportunity to choose who you like to be like. You may not find, but I look around today, as I'm speaking, Delmomodu is continuing to make money. If money is the objective, better look at him and see that you keep pushing it. This your Latilo, he sends me like 20 messages a day to go and be looking at TV. I said to myself one day, Ma'am, congratulations. My own generation is proud of you. My generation is proud of you. And it is not true that integrity does not pay. It is not true. It is not true that professional proficiency doesn't get you anywhere. It is not true. It is not true that living your values, you're just wasting your time. It is not true. It is not true that unless you fly to Abuja every other day to go and look for contract is the only way to make a living. It is not true. Let me tell you the minimum it will fetch you. I will be in your audience anytime you call. Thank you.
Don't stop clapping now. Thank you so much, Mr. Fola Adiola. He said his generation is proud. My generation too is proud because what will we do? I want to say, in case you see me hesitant to come up stage, there's a reason, right? I hosted an event some time ago, and it was an orchestra performing. And then I got up stage, and that's when they started the second stanza. And I had to rush back down. And then when I was coming, I was like, are you guys done now? And they say, yes, we're done. So in case I'm reluctant, just know that I want to know whether they're done or there's a second stanza. Okay, so very quickly, would like to recognize that I would not be given a spoiler. It's not my place. I've read the book, and I'm proud of it. But we have veterans and experts who will be reviewing the book. I would like to hand over the microphone in no time to one who has made his mark in the industry. He's a renowned journalist, a renowned broadcaster, a renowned in the field. Please, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Dr. Nasir Danladi Bako as he comes to give the book review.
Commission, not corporation. They are two different things. Just an aside. Mr. Chairman, the one and only Fola Adiola, Chief Fola Adiola, who ran in the forefront in the industry. Sir Chief Odeyemi, all the former deputy governors here, my brother Donald Duke, former governor of Rivers State, Cross River State, the former DGs here present. Here I mean Shola Omole, the Orelu of Lagos, former Deputy Governor Madam Sinatu Ojikutu, my brother Bisi Olatilo, Chief Steve Omojafo, most importantly, the students from all the schools that are around Lagos. Please, can I have a round of applause for them? When I was asking the author who was going to be in the audience, so I know who to address, who to speak to, and she said there are going to be students there. By the grace of God, most of them are well privileged, well dressed, but I had wanted some children from Okitipupa, some children from Focados, from children from Elegushi, so that they can pick up. These ones are experienced. They have schools, they have TV, they watch all the TikTok and all that stuff. The ones that need some of these to build a future around Fola Adiola or Donald Duke are some of those remote ones that never have this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, the book Command Your Stage is a 272-page introspection, interrogation, and examination of the art and science of public speaking and contextual presentation, written by our dear author, broadcaster, speech presentation expert, Mrs. Bimbo Oloyede. The book is packaged and delivered in 12 chapters of precise, descriptive, unambiguous, free-flowing prose, laced with intellectual sagacity and journalistic expertise, so much that the reader is likely to believe that Bimbo indeed has a Doctor of Philosophy degree in literature and elocution, as well as literature in English. The depth of the linguistic prosecution of the message of the book is about one of the finest and most lucid one has read in a very long time. The author explores and utilizes English language and choice of words with the dexterity of a seasoned literary colossus. The book opens up with a prologue written by her, where she aptly titles The Power and the Glory. For the author, there's something about almost mystical about being able to speak effectively in public. Something about being on stage, talking to an audience that somehow elevates the speaker above the crowd, as in this case. But it goes beyond the physical placement of the speaker by transporting him to a higher level as we are now. It is a power that cannot really be expressed because it cannot really be explained, quote and unquote. This is her quote from the prologue. She goes ahead to elucidate about the concept of glory. She says, the glory is that pin drop silence in the hall when you can see the intensity of the absorption of the faces of the audience. You feel the glory. When at the end of the presentation, even the most comfortable in their chairs rise energetically to give you a standing ovation. That is the glory. She goes ahead to give examples of kings and queens that are masters of the power and the glory. She tells us about Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., President Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and of course, Alhaji Yusuf Maitama Sule, Nigeria's former representative to the United Nations. Let me add Fola Adeola now. Chapter 1 focuses on the big question, what is presentation? According to the author, presentation is both an art and also a science, because the intrinsic elements of the art is an acquired habit of thinking, making, and doing something with such regularity that the practitioner becomes unconsciously competent and skilled. While science is a concerted effort to obtain knowledge in order to attain a better understanding of nature through observation or experimentation under controlled conditions. For her, the whole essence of art and science are embedded in presentation, especially when resulting and recounting those events or ideas in a logical order or sequence. Combining these three components make a desirable quality presentation effective as well.